Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Today's guest is Diane McHeffy, the head golf professional at the Newport Country Club. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Right. Did I get your title right?
You did, actually. That's great.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're the new pro at
I
Newport.
am.
How have you enjoyed it so far?
I love it. I have had such a great reception with the community and with all the people at the club, and I'm meeting new people every day. It's just I just felt instantly at home when I moved into the area, so I'm thrilled to be here.
I know I've been quizzing you a little bit, but you've met so many people like you will be meeting people like Andy Pepin and Lindy Palin. They're in their 90s. They're kind of like the survivors of the last, I don't know how many decades, maybe the 1930s and 40s, and they still play golf.
And they've been members of the club that long?
I believe so. At least involved in it. Probably Andy has. Lindy moved away for quite a few years, so he possibly wasn't. Andy actually wrote the history of. He wrote the history of the country club for me, and he's in his 90s now. I think from their clubhouse you could probably hit his house with a golf ball because his life for the most part has centered right around. He grew up right then over the hill in another place, and then he lived on Mount Vernon for decades, and then he moved into one of the new condos. So,
right. Well, I'll look forward to meeting him.
Oh, and Andy's if you have to have a good sense of humor because he can go all day long and never repeat the same joke twice. So
well, that's a talent.
Yes. So where are you? How did you arrive here in the Northeast Kingdom?
My last position, I was actually working as a consultant for a international conglomerate that purchased a country club property down in the Florida Keys, and I had originally been hired as the head professional and then promoted to general manager down in the Florida Keys. And when the club was sold, the new ownership, they were from Sweden, but they didn't have anybody within that corporation that really knew much about golf. And so they asked me to work with them to help develop a new strategy and a new plan for the club because they wanted to add, and they basically bought the land so that they could build a hotel destination resort, which makes a lot of sense in the Keys. The problem was we didn't have a lot of acreage to put a hotel on that property in addition to an 18-hole golf course. And so through meetings and working with the new ownership group, I was tasked with developing a learning center, a state-of-the-art learning center, and creating that model around a very unique design, a 12-hole golf course that they are working at putting into place with their boutique hotel and all the other amenities. So as I finished up that contract, I was actively looking to relocate to New England. My original roots are from a small town outside of Boston, Holliston, Mass. And I have a lot of family in Rhode Island, a lot of family in Massachusetts, and really wanted to get back to my roots. And so the opportunity came up at Newport Country Club and went through the interview process, and I was very fortunate to have been selected to represent the club as their new head professional.
How's the weather compared to Florida?
Well, it doesn't work for shorts, so I've had to spend a little bit more money on a wardrobe conversion that I wasn't really planning on doing. So, aside from that, it's okay with me. I'm so busy right now with getting established and getting everything set up. I haven't had a whole lot of time to be outside. So, but I'm ready. I think like all the other Vermonters and everybody in this area, I think we're all ready to see some sunshine and some warmer temperatures.
On the positive side, how has it? It hasn't like been torrential downpours. It's just been kind of like raining a lot. But how's
Springtime in New England.
But how's the course hanging?
The course is in fantastic shape. Greg, the superintendent, has done a remarkable job. I was blown away, I've got to be honest. I was really blown away by looking at the layout of the course. I fell in love with, the location of that golf course, the staff, the board of directors. I mean, the whole operation to me is fantastic. I'm just thrilled to be a part of it. But Greg and his team and his staff, they've done an incredible job. When they pulled the tarps off the greens in the springtime, they're in amazing shape, and I'm every day I've got players that come in and rave about how good the condition of the course is for so early in the season. So we're very fortunate. We're very excited for this upcoming season.
If I recall right, my brother worked there as a groundskeeper in high school. I worked there as a groundskeeper in high school. My sons worked there as groundskeeper in high school, and while
It's
they
a great
were
place to have a job when you're a
and-
young guy.
right, and while
And gal.
while my sons were in college, they then helped build the golf course at Jay.
Yeah, that's
so,
great.
But on the other hand, I will be honest: is my brother is a golfer. My sons are golfers. My sons brought me out a couple times. They said, "Dad, this sport is not for you."
We can fix that.
But I have a depth perception problem, and I can actually miss that ball sitting right there on the tee. Boom. Or I make a whole new hole for you.
Oh, well, we can work on that.
But yeah, so we kind of go, way back. I was telling you beforehand, I used to do something I used to dive into the water hole and fish out balls. And now I think about that muck down there and think,
Yeah,
But
when you're young, you don't care about that kind of stuff. It's fun.
But you were saying people did that down in Florida.
They do it all the time.
With the alligators, you were telling me.
We would have divers that would come down and get in the water, and I don't. I would want to check their IQ level, but they do it, and I don't know. It's not for me. It's not something that there's not a golf ball in this world that's worth that kind of money for me. So.
No. So have you been up in the air yet around here?
No, I haven't.
You know what? As I tell everybody this, I didn't fly around here until I didn't go up with anybody until I was at least 40 something. And parts of my family have been here since the glaciers moved out. And you can't fully understand the beauty and the lay of the land until you go up. And over at the airport, you can go out and they'll take you up for a minimal price. And the thing is, it gives you as for your golf course, it'll give you a real look at the lay of the golf course compared to the city and everything.
Yeah.
You'll be astonished how beautiful this area is from the sky.
Well, the scenery for me is pretty spectacular from the ground level, so I can only imagine if I got up in the air and looked at it. I can't imagine it being any prettier than it is right now. I mean, granted, the green on the trees will make it a little bit better, but it's still a beautiful, beautiful place with the lake and Jay Peak in the background. I go to work many times very early in the morning when it's real quiet, and it takes your breath away, to be honest, to go up into the property and onto the property and look out over the lake. It's probably one of the prettiest scenes for a location for a clubhouse. And I've been around the country and I've played in a lot of events over the years, and I've been in the business a long time. But you really have a gem here.
Right.
You really have a gem.
Here's a little trivia for you. As I said, I write history.
Okay.
A lot of the golf course is actually located in Derby. It's at least a portion of it's located in Derby. The clubhouse is in Newport. It was actually by design that the clubhouse was put in Newport, because following Prohibition, Derby was a dry community, so you could not have alcohol in Derby. But so
That's
they had
kind of difficult to have a golf course with a dry.
Yeah, but Newport.
Just saying.
Newport was wet. Thus, the clubhouse was put in.
Somebody had to be.
Right. So it was put in. Yeah. So it was put in Newport so they could serve alcohol. So very possibly the clubhouse would have been located in Derby, but probably not, because you do have a scenic
Yeah.
area right there. So there's a little
Yeah, that's
trick
great.
here about the placement of the part of the reason for the placement of
Yeah.
the clubhouse.
Makes sense.
So
Makes sense.
so you've met everybody, the board members.
I'm meeting everybody daily. We've got members that are coming in every day that have been south or been traveling or been gone for the month of April. So everybody's been very gracious to come in and introduce themselves, and I'm working on the name game now and trying to recall and remember everybody's name. And once I get through the next few months, it's going to get a little bit easier. And I'm just looking forward to getting our season underway.
Yeah, you're here because the producer of the show, Todd Pronto, who's the head of this station, said, "Hey, they got a new golf pro up there, and why don't you invite her?" Because Todd is a golfer,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's why you're sitting here today. And you will meet. I suspect we had a guest 2 weeks ago who is a distinguished golfer and a kind of a local folk hero of his own is Tony O'Connor. And the reason he kind of sticks out among golfers is he's a great golfer. He's gotten hole-in-ones, but he's missing both his legs and an arm. Now he walks on. He's been missing them for decades, so he walks on his prostheses. You wouldn't even know it. But he can't wear one of his arms, so he's a one-armed golfer, and he downplays how good he is. But can you imagine?
Yeah, it's interesting. For many, many years, I've worked with players with disabilities, and part of my background is specializing in teaching people with disabilities or limitations.
Right.
And I was exposed to a similar situation with the double paraplegic in San Diego when I was out there in the 80s, who had lost his legs in the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't know when I went out to play with him. He was a 3 handicap, and I didn't know when we went out to play that he had lost both of his legs. And your body will compensate, and you work at different points of balance, and you utilize different parts of your body to accommodate what you don't have. And that's the nice thing, and the greatest thing to me about the game of golf is that you can play at all levels and with limitations as you make your modifications to your swing. And it's a game of a lifetime, as they say. It's an old cliche, but it's very, very true.
Right.
So I'll look forward to meeting him.
Right. Then we were also talking beforehand, I was giving you a little history trivia, is Patty Sheehan's roots to this area. Even though she didn't grow up here,
Yep.
both of her parents graduated from Newport High.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of golf roots here.
Yep. She actually was, I was playing collegiate golf Division I at the same time she was. And so we shared in many a tournament together that we were playing in. So, but she's out in Reno right now and retired from the tour. But she was one of our all-time greats on the LPGA tour.
Right. I wonder if I know you've actually I actually have photos of, you've had some pretty prestigious people up here, but I don't know if Patty has ever played your course or not.
I don't know.
Yeah. So what is exactly your role? What do you do?
Well, my job is for the oversight of the facility and to run the golf operation from the standpoint of creating programming for the members and for the public and for our guests through lessons and some educational programs we do. Also running the tournaments and the events, and the retail operation, which is the golf shop. So, and then we've got the restaurant and the bar, so I'm working with the staff there just to make sure that we have the utmost levels of customer service, and hopefully my goal is that when people think about the Newport Country Club going forward, that they view us as the friendliest golf course in the Northeast Kingdom. So,
so with golf, some sports aren't, some participation in some sports are going down just because there's so much to do. But how is golf on the increase, or is it holding its own, or?
You know, it depends. It depends on what area of the country that you're in and what type of facility that you have. I would say that we are, in our industry nationwide, we're probably flat at this point, which is a positive improvement. We had been going down for many years. And I think part of that problem was that we had an overbuilding situation where golf courses, we had too many golf courses for the players in this country. And so we have been working through the inventory. So you've seen a lot of golf courses that have been sold. A lot of them have gone into, they've turned into real estate properties, so on and so forth. I think the clubs that are thriving now and surviving are clubs very similar to Newport Country Club, where they have a private membership aspect, but they're also open to the public and open to outside play. And the clubs that are addressing the needs of the millennials and the younger generations are really doing well, because we do have challenges in our industry. One of the challenges is time, because it's very difficult to find 8 hours a day to spend at a golf course, where back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, I mean, the mentality was you went and spent your whole weekend at the country club. Now we've got so many options for our families and for our children. We've got soccer, we've got ballet, we've got gymnastics, Little League baseball, you name it, we've got an activity for the kids. So we compete with that. And what we're moving towards and moving in the direction of with the Newport Country Club, thanks to the vision of the current board, is to be more embracing of families and to bring activities there that involve the kids, the moms, the dads, and create programs that don't take up all day. So, and that's part of why I'm here, is to create those kinds of programs that will allow us to play golf and enjoy the sport, but not devote the entire day to it. So you're seeing a lot of golf courses that are going to 9-hole events, which Newport Country Club has a lot of those with our leagues at night, our men's league, our ladies, our couples leagues. So we're seeing that, and it was great for me to come into the operation to see just how much is really going on in the evenings after work, and that's really creating a healthy environment in our industry. And a lot of clubs were slow in making a movement in that direction, and the clubs that are making a movement in that direction have really improved and have grown their base, and that's what we're looking to do at Newport as well.
I think that's a great thing, because you're right, is my children are grown up now, but we're a society now to where we can't, I don't think it's so much to stay focused for 8 hours, but we're all over the place, and so I think 4 hours versus 8 hours, right, people can find time. But
Yeah.
the other thing is, I think you have some good feeder programs here. Like I believe North Country has a pretty good program.
Yep.
Then I live near the golf course, so I'll come up over Mount Vernon, and in the summer you'll see a whole row of kids on the driving range being taught. So Newport Country Club has quite the history of developing junior golf, and it really is amazing if you really could see what the rest of this country is doing. To put it into perspective, it is highly unusual to see the kinds of involvement with the juniors and the population that you have in your junior camps and in your junior programs here already. That continues, and that's going to continue to grow and to be developed under my tenure here as well. In addition, I'm introducing for the first time this year the PGA Junior League, which is a program that the PGA of America has put out, which I believe we now have 33,000 juniors around the country in it. And it is a little league format that allows the juniors, males and females, to play in a fun, competitive environment, even if they have no experience in golf. So it's a team game, and Newport Country Club is going to host their first team this year, and we're taking sign-ups now. And it's part also of a development program, so that as you join the PGA Junior League, your child also gets practices with me,
and we have regular instructional programs, and we also have the competition. And the kids all get to wear a jersey with a number on their back and their name across it. And so that is I'm bringing that in to simply enhance and add to an already very successful program that you have here in this area. Your high school girls and boys teams here are outstanding, and that's fantastic. I'm happy to see that, because that is your future for your country club, and you have to look at that and embrace it. And it's always been a passion of mine, junior golf, and I think maybe that was part of why I was fortunate enough to be selected, is because that is something that I have focused on over my career, along with developing women in the game.
The other thing I've been told is, and it makes sense, I've even watched it with my own kids, my boys are golfers, my daughter isn't, but my boys are golfers, but when they went to college, they played in college, as in they played just for themselves, but then they got into the workplace. One of them has started a family, the other one's married. I've been told that during the big void is actually like the 20 and 30-year-olds, because they're so busy picking their lives up, that you have young people,
Yep.
but then you have retired people. But there's that group in the middle where sometimes they find a hard time breaking away just from life.
It is. I mean, that's in your 20s and in your 30s, you're trying to grow your career, and it is hard, and also you're growing young families at the same time, so it is hard. The country club has made a big step in that direction this year by changing their membership levels, so that we actually embrace the 19 to 24-year-olds and the 25 to 30-year-olds. So we now have a membership program over there that starts off very, very affordable, and then as you continue through your career path, financially, generally speaking, that we're able to pay a little bit more. And so we are reaching out to that actual demographic and recruiting and embracing them to bring them into the country club.
You know what I remember? I remember some funny things about when I worked there. Is I seem to think there was a period of time in golf back in like the 70s and 80s where it almost seemed like the funnier you dressed, I mean, like checkered pants, and I would see the doctors.
Well, they're still out there. There's a company called Loudmouth that still produces that type of clothing.
But do people wear that? Because am I right? Am I thinking right? Did a lot of people?
They wear it. They wear it. I don't know if they wear it well, but they wear it.
But was there a period? Was that
sure.
a kind? Yeah, because that's right.
Sure.
That's what I remember.
Yes, absolutely.
Is the doctors up there, and they were all dressed up in their checkered pants. I think I have a photo of Andy Pepin, who I was saying, I think he's all decked out in his checkered pants and things that...
Well, the styles change in every sport over the years. If you look at tennis and you look at the clothing that they wear now compared to what they wore 40 years ago, I mean, styles come and go through all of our sports, but we had a period of time that I would call it obnoxious.
So what is the decorum about? How are you expected to dress when you go to the golf course?
Slacks, shorts, khakis. It depends on your country club. It depends on the type of clientele that you're looking for. I think in our industry now we're moving towards a more casual dress. Because frankly, we're trying to embrace the fact that, back in the day, it used to be that you had we still try to wear collars, and you're not going to wear a tank top and cut off jeans. But at the same time, as our trends change in our industry and around our country, our industry needs to reflect the change of clothing that is just something that is more comfortable to the average population. And so again, everything will change with time, but obviously we'd like people to be properly dressed from the standpoint of respectable, men with collared shirts, ladies with tops and blouses. We have this performance, sportswear nowadays where it wicks away and it's athletic wear. So we have a lot more choices from the standpoint of our clothing than we used to have in the past as well. So,
Okay, we have about 5 more minutes left. What more would you like to tell the listeners?
I think that my encouragement for everybody that's out there is that if you have never picked up a golf club and if you've never had an opportunity to play, that we welcome you, as do all the other courses in the state of Vermont. We are actively looking to bring more players and introduce more players to the game because it's a fantastic game. It is a game you can play with your children, your spouse, your significant other, and we have plenty of programs going on at the Newport Country Club to introduce you to the game of golf, and with a very easy entry into it. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to introduce yourself to the game, find out if you like it. I've got some ladies beginning golf programs that are underway right now called the No Embarrassment Golf Clinics. I run clinics every single week, and in addition to the private lessons. And I just would challenge everybody to come out and give it a shot because it is a fantastic game. It's a beautiful place. The Newport Country Club is just so stunningly beautiful. And at the very least, you're going to get a gorgeous walk for an hour or two out on the golf course and get some good exercise.
Now, talking about walking, do you walk the course or do you take the, do you use a car?
Both. My favorite thing to do in life is to walk with a caddy. Of course, I don't really have a caddy around here, but I love to get the exercise and I love to walk. We also, obviously we have golf carts as well, but I think we lose a lot when we ride in our golf carts all the time because I think that there's something to be said for walking between your golf shots and just taking a moment to breathe and I think all of us have to check out once in a while, and our lives are so busy and there's so much going on that the golf course makes for a very great escape, and it's mentally embracing to be able to get out there and recharge your batteries.
Now, which hole is it? Way down in the, it's way down, as in it's not over by Pine Hill, but more towards the back of
15
it.
and 16?
It's way down. We used to do hill runs when we were in high school. We used to do cross-country running, hill run. No, it's only one hole. It's
the Heartbreak Hill?
Oh, probably. Down towards South Bay, I think it goes. But that's where our high school used to our coach used to take us there to do hill runs back and forth up and down that hill. And I don't know, I might have.
Were you cursing him under your breath when you were having to run that hill?
Back then I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And because running,
not so much at this age.
No, even though I'm in great shape, I might curse him now. But yeah, okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on, and
you're welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It sounds like you're going to be proactive about trying to recruit more people. And
we're very excited for the upcoming season. I think we're going to have a fantastic season.
If it stops raining.
I think we're going to have that.
It's not too late for snow.
Yeah,
so.
don't talk to me about that. So.
Okay, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice.